Hey YouTube and vinyl community, Retro Nostalgia fan here, and today we're gonna look through my entire Beatles 45 collection, including the UK singles and EPs. Now, most of the records here that you see are actually UK pressings, so let's begin. First one we start off with is Love Me Do, back with P.S. I Love You. This is a reproduction sleeve, by the way. It's not the original sleeve. Most of these Parlophone records are actually 1976 pressings from the rare exclusive 1976 box collection, the singles box collection from EMI, where you could order the UK Beatles singles from 1976. This is one of the pressings. This is one of the copies, in fact. I just like the style of the original company sleeves that Parlophone made when the Beatles were around, so that's why most of the 76 pressings have reproduction sleeves. Anyway, here's a 1976 pressing of Please Please Me, back with Ask Me Why. Here's a UK first pressing of From Me to You, back with Thank You Girl. This is a first pressing with the genuine Parlophone company sleeve, not a reproduction. And here's a UK first pressing of Twist and Shout EP. This is laminated with the flipbacks. It's a little yellow, but the record plays great. It's in excellent condition. Here's the record. First pressing without the Soul in UK, but has the recording first published. Some variations of the first pressing have a misspell for Do You Want to Know a Secret, and is instead called Do You Want to Know a Secret instead of Do You Want to Know a Secret. But this is the correct pressing I showed you. Next we got is a rare Decca contract pressing of She Loves You, back with I'll Get You. Genuine Parlophone sleeve. And this one plays great, but it's a second pressing and a Decca contract pressing. Here's a near mint UK first pressing of Beatles Hits EP, or should I say second pressing, because this sleeve is in beautiful condition. It's laminated, and the true first pressing does not have the recording first published 1963. I just found that out, that this actually came without the recording first published added, but also says the Parlophone Co. So if you see a record or a pressing of this EP without the recording first published, it doesn't say the date at all, and it says the Parlophone Co. right here on the rim, then you got a UK first pressing of the Beatles Hits EP. This is technically a second pressing, but this is the most common original pressing, so it still counts as an original pressing. Here's a 1970s pressing of Beatles Hits EP. This one's not laminated, but it has the flipbacks on the top and bottom. And here's the record inside a reproduction Parlophone company sleeve. It's a 1976 pressing. Alright, up next is Beatles number 1. This is a 1970s, late 1970s and early 1980s pressing, non-laminated sleeve. Here's the record. Here's a 1976 pressing of I Wanna Hold Your Hand, back with this boy. This one does include the sleeve that it came with. This is one of the pictures. Some of the singles have different back pictures or back covers on each single sleeve. And now here's an American first pressing of She Loves You, back with I'll Get You on Swan Records. Here's a original first pressing of I Wanna Hold Your Hand, back with I Saw Her Standing There, first pressing on Capitol. Here's a Canadian record. Here's a Canadian pressing of Roll Over Beethoven, back with Please Mr. Postman. Here's a 1979 pressing of All My Lovin', just like Beatles number 1 and the second copy of Beatles Hits. Came from the EP box set, actually. I should mention. And this is another one of those. Here's the record. It says EMI Records on the rim instead of the gramophone co or parlophone co. Here's a 1970s copy of Can't Buy Me Love with You Can't Do That, the B-side. Here's a 1969 pressing of Long Tall Sully. They never updated the pressing since 1969 for this EP. It's a 1979 pressing without a laminated sleeve, but the record's actually from 1969. This is actually a 1969 pressing, but was made later on. Here's the record. It's weird. They never actually updated the 69 pressing for Long Tall Sully. Anyway, here's a 1976 copy of Hard Day's Night with Things You Said Today. Like I said, all my 76 pressings have reproduction company sleeves that were used on first pressings. Well, not all of them, just a few of them. Here's extract from the film Hard Day's Night, 79 pressing. Record. Here's a UK first pressing of I Feel Fine with She's a Woman with a reproduction company sleeve. The original was in horrid condition, so I replaced it with a better condition sleeve, and it was a reproduction. Anyway, here's Beatles for Sale EP, 1979 pressing. Here's the record. Here's a 1979 pressing of Beatles for Sale number 2 from the box set, just like the other EPs, except for Twist and Shout and the first copy of Beatles Hits. Here's the record. Here's Ticket to Ride It, Yes It Is, 76 pressing, reproduction sleeve. Here's a UK second pressing of Help with Back with I'm Down. Now, the way you could tell this is a second pressing is if the rim on both sides, very carefully, it should say the parlophone call, but right here it says the gramophone call, and that's a second pressing. The first pressings of Help, which is this single, and We Can Work It Out with Day Tripper, have the parlophone call right here instead of the gramophone call. So that's how you can tell you got a first pressing of those two singles. And this copy is in great condition, plays flawless. Probably one of the best sounding copies I have. Alright. Here's a 1976 copy of Help and I'm Down with the original sleeve that came with the box set. Different picture on the back cover. And also I put a company sleeve that was a reproduction with the record. But the record's genuine. Here's a 1979 copy of Beatles Million Sellers. Not a laminated sleeve, but still a late 70s pressing. Here's the record. Here's a UK second pressing of We Can Work It Out, back with Day Tripper, with the genuine sleeve. Again, this one says gramophone instead of parlophone call. Here's a American first pressing of Nowhere Man with What Goes On. Here's a 1979 copy of Yesterday, non-laminated sleeve, UK EP. Here's the record. This one's in near mint condition. Alright, here's an American first pressing of Paperback Writer, back with Rain. I'll show you this record actually. Here's the record. I'll admit the sound quality isn't as good as some of the other Beatles singles, but it sounds okay. I mean, not as good as the UK single, personally, but it sounds pretty good. Speaking of, here's a near mint first pressing of Paperback Writer, back with Rain, the UK first pressing. This sounds really good. It sounds beautiful. The record's absolutely beautiful. Though the sound quality is questionable, doesn't sound nice naturally, which is a shame because I love that single. Here's a Nowhere Man, probably one of the rarest EPs other than Yesterday. Again, a 1979 pressing. Here's the record. This is one of my favorite Beatles UK EPs. Next we got is a 1976 copy of Yellow Submarine, back with Eleanor Rigby. And here's a reproduction picture sleeve for Strawberry Fields, back with Penny Lane. This is not an original company sleeve. This is a reproduction picture sleeve. I just got it because it would be cool. But the pressing is actually a 1976 pressing, not a first pressing. What's interesting is this reproduction sleeve came with an actual first pressing, but I got rid of it because the first pressing was in horrid condition. So it wasn't worth keeping. And I got it for $11 anyway. So first pressing with a reproduction sleeve, I'm going to get an upgrade first, a first pressing for Strawberry Fields. Anyway, 1976 copy of All You Need Is Love, back with Baby You're a Rich Man. This one is special because the sleeve, now this is a 1976 copy, like from the singles box set. However, this is my holy grail of Beatle records. Now, good news and bad news about this. Ringo Starr's autograph is authentic because my Uncle Dick actually went to a Beatles concert and he got this signed. Nah, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm just kidding. Actually, what really happened was that this record, might be a reproduction autograph. Might have the reproduction autographs. It's not the original autograph, sadly. But I got it for $90, so I could be wrong. I got it on eBay from a British seller. Said they were authentic, but, I don't think they were authentic. I have to check this one out, and someday in a while I'll make an update on this one. Anyway, next is a French export pressing of Hello Goodbye with I Am the Walrus. This looks like a UK first pressing, but it says made in France right underneath. Producer George Martin says made in France instead of made in Great Britain. So that indicates it's a French export, and this is very rare. And here's a 1975 pressing of Magical Mystery Tour in stereo. This has the book inside. Here's record 1. This plays near mint, and it's a late 70s pressing. Also, the actual outer sleeve is laminated. Here's disc 2. These were genuine both records these are genuine black sleeves, inner sleeves for the EP. And here is a 1976 pressing of Lady Madonna with the inner light. Now on to the Apple records. Here's Hey Jude, back with Revolution. This is a reproduction Apple sleeve. And the record's from 1976. Here's a misprinted 1976 pressing of Get Back with Don't Let Me Down. Don't Let Me Down actually doesn't play Don't Let Me Down. It's actually a Wings song, which is I Had Enough, is instead replaced for Don't Let Me Down. So this is a misprint. Once in a lifetime misprint on this single. Let me know about that if you know anything about why Don't Let Me Down is replaced with a Wings song. Well, this is probably a 1978 pressing, possibly, because that's when that song came out. It's 1978 on London Town. Anyway, that's a specialty. Here's my last UK first pressing of the original singles. This is Ballad John Yoko, back with Old Brown Shoe. First pressing, genuine sleeve that time. Here's a 1976 copy of something, back with Come Together. This one's another reproduction sleeve, but the record plays great. And Let It Be. This is another reproduction Apple sleeve, and it also has its genuine sleeve that came with the single back in the box set. And the back song, the B-side, I should say, is You Know My Name. Look up the number. Alright, and then I got two more records. Back in the USSR, back with Twist and Shout. This is from the singles box set. And there was another one which I used to have. It was Yesterday and I Should Have Known Better, but I got rid of that single, and I really regret it. However, my EP box set, which most of my EPs came in, had this EP, The Beatles, in stereo. It's a stereo EP. And here's the record. Right there. So that concludes my entire Beatles 45 collection. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and you all have a good day. Peace and love, says Ringo Starr.